Well, hey there. Bit of an awkward angle here for me today. Bit washed out by the light. I've got a skylight directly above me. You won't see it in the sessions, but there's a skylight right above us. So when the clouds move and things, so my face is a bit bright here, but hopefully you can see the Octapad and the Nord 3P really clearly, which is what today's session's all about. So anyway, hi. How are you? My name's Paul. This is Plan Z. And if you're new to the channel, we're talking live looping and how I do what I do, and a little bit about the gear. And if you've been following the sessions, hi. Hope it hasn't been so painful. Hope you're well. And today I'd like to focus on why I chose what I chose for my beats. Now, I might not be looking at the camera so much today because I'd really like the focus to be over here, and you don't need to be looking at my ugly mug all washed out by this skylight. So anyway, the Octapad. When I was looking around at beats, I originally started out about a year and a half ago. I got my hands on a second-hand RC300 and a second-hand Nord 3P, and there I started live looping. My beats were obviously being generated on the 3P using percussive parts from my nylon on the guitar to embellish that, but then the opportunity of an Octapad came into my life. Now at the time I was looking at the SPD-SX, Octapad and a few other things by a few other companies, but the SX is kind of really sample based, does have kits in there, so don't let me dissuade you from going down that route. That's a much better. I wish the clouds would stay about there. That's a better lighting. But anyway, I ended up going for this because it's kit focused and it has so much in it. I'm just going to give you a brief overview of these and how I use them in this session. Hopefully it won't go on too long. So I'm going to focus on the unit now. So the SPD30 Octapad has two names, Octapad or SPD30 if you're searching it. It has a looper within it, and this is one of the things that attracted me to it. You can quantize yourself when you're recording into it. I don't use that function. I like the idea. My whole principle of not using computers is I don't like quantizing and things. I like things to feel as natural as possible. But the other reason is in my past I've worked in trouble zones like Sierra Leone and deepest darkest depths of Indonesia, and when you're relying on things like phones and computer access and things like that, they have a tendency to die on you, and well, when I'm playing live I want to go old school. I want any element of anything that could die on me out of the equation, so it's less painful for everybody. So there's no computer in my rig, only in the iPhone, which is only used to record the video. All the audio you hear is generated by the gear. So yeah, that's why there's no computers and why I chose things like this. One is a backup for the other, but work perfectly together when they're both working, and they both work like a dream, if I'm honest with you. So I'm just going to show you some sounds and then show you what you can do. So on the floor I've got a KT10 kick drum pedal, I believe it's called, also made by Roland. You can see there in the background is the Yamaha mixer, which goes directly into the not the Roland Go mixer, the Yamaha, which takes the feed from all of the gear, from the loopers and my vocal into the Roland Go mixer and then onto the phone. You can see there the little yellow lights just pinging on at 0 dB, which is where I have my vocal when I'm really pelting it. So I'm just going to play some parts on some kits so you can hear how they sound. I've given them a tweak, and then I'm going to show you how you can use the looper and things like that. So just a very simple. So that's the live kit. I've got a drum and bass kit in here, which I haven't used yet, so the levels might be slightly off. Up here, for my ride, I've got the BT1 bar trigger. This is my distorted drum kit that we used in running shoe. Now you might be hearing that kick drum and going, that sounds weird. Yeah, you can manipulate all of the parts. So you've got control over all your panning. You've got control over so many different aspects actually. The only thing it doesn't let you do is know what frequency is being pushed. So if you've got a kick drum sitting in 100 hertz and you've got another kick drum that's really pushing more like 80 hertz, a sub kick, you've got to use your ears. It doesn't tell you which frequencies are being pushed, which is a nightmare if you play bass, which I do, because you want to use pocket EQing to get your low end right. So as this goes through my Yamaha mixer before the loopers, I don't cut any of the bottom end out of it. In fact, everything's completely flat. I just bring the level up. Everything's coming from inside of it. So that was the distorted kit there. We've got an 808. Okay, we've got a heavy 909 which is used in this current song, so I'll just play that. Okay. Now you can, within it, it's got over 600 sounds. And they're all samples, so you've got orchestral percussion, you've got percussion from all over the world. So if you want that little bell from India or that little bongo from the Congo, it's all in there. There's synths, there's all kinds of madness. We're going to look at some of that in a little minute. Actually, so my ride there, it's quite nice. This has got effects on it. It's got voice in there as well. 1, 2, 3. Now there's one on here called Astronaut, or no, Astrobot. Now I use this in running shoe. I use the top 4 pads. I've got it configured at the moment. You might recognize this. So this might be a nice time to show you how the looper is used. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to engage the looper. I engage the looper by pressing this one button here, and whilst that is pressed, you can't see the screen here. It's so small, and there's loads of videos out there that go into how you do this stuff. I just want to show you the broad strokes. So if you're thinking of how can I do my beats, this is a really good option if you don't want a computer involved. So I've set up to record on 4 bars. I'm going to put a click track on because I haven't got any beats. Give me a second. You can hear my click track there. And it will start recording as soon as I hit the pad. So let me just get the part in. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you'll notice the click track has now disappeared. As soon as it finishes recording the round, the click track does the off. I don't use the click track live, I only put it on for this so I can show you. But what I'm going to do, so I can put my beat in and make sure it's tight, I'm going to turn the click track back on. Now, the looper within this is quite cool. You can loop up to 3 different parts, 3 different things. So on this kit I've put in that synth. So now if I select my drum kit 2, I can go from anything within that kit chain, and what we're going to do is we're going to get the distorted drums out. Okay, so this is my overdrive drums. I'm going to put the beat in. Could have played it better. I normally play with just socks on. My trainer got stuck in the kick drum. How funny. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the 3rd part, and let's see if we can't find something contrasting here. Okay, I've got some percussion ballad stuff. I just want to test on it, so I'm going to stop it from looping, which I've just done by pressing a button. I'm just going to test out. Up there, and I just stopped it. So what I'm going to do is now start it again with the kick drum. And now I'm going to record that percussion. Okay, now we've got that in there. One of the things that's really nice about this is I can now manipulate those levels. So I can go into here and I can select part level. And what you're going to hear is I take away the distorted drum. And I'm left with my percussion. How easy was that? Really cool. So, yeah. So the other nice thing is when you press stop, listen to what happens. I'm going to stop on a cymbal crash, and it lets the last thing you stop on, it doesn't just cut it dead, it lets it finish what it does, which is really natural way of finishing things. So I use this as a trick when I'm winding down songs. I might have something on my loopers that when I stop the loopers, it's going to stop a little bit dead. So I might trigger something on a loop here and stop them at different times or the same time, so it feels more natural. And because of the controls we have in here, as you've just seen, I can go into those different elements and bring up and pull up different elements if I choose to do that. So I'm just going to come out of there. What it does is when you come out of your loop, it reminds you you're going to lose everything if you come out of there unless you save it. I don't want to save what I just did. We're going to lose it. So what might be interesting here now, you've had an idea of some basic kit stuff and how you can use the looper. I'm just going to go using my kit chain. I've got different kit chains set up. And this one is mostly percussion. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through some of the patches showing you what's in there. Now I haven't brought all of these levels up on a gain stage. I've brought some of them up. But only ones I've been jamming with. The sun's come out again, you can just tell. So let's get back to here. So on the kick drum, on my Arabic drums, so I can tell I need to bring that kit up overall. So here you've got lots of menus you can go in. Typical Roland Boss. I'm just going to bump that. Okay, this is an Afro beat, so it's an African drum set. Nice sounds there. Not playing any particular beats or anything, just giving you a run through of some of the sounds. As I say, there's like over 600, nearly 700 sounds in here. It's crazy. You've got 50 different drum kits you can have. So we got now Afro with Brazilian. That could be louder. Now we got Afro Latin. I want more levels on these so you can tell I haven't been here. This is Pots and Didgeridoo. Kimbala. You can hear already that the patches I've been in, they're all at different levels. And that's one of the things I'm doing through my mix phase, is getting these all to a level where I can just go to any kit when I play live and drop anything I want. This is called Jungle Explorer. Listen to that rain stick. It's nice, atmospheric. A Cuban kit. What have we got here? We've got congas. We've got 2 bongos. Cowbell, clave, timbala, another timbala, and a crash, and another timbala on my kick drum there. So, and how I know that is here, it gives me a little set of boxes that show me an abbreviation of what's in there. So if you arrive on a new kit, you can fairly quickly figure out roughly what's going on. More Latin percussion. That's nice. See, and you could make that tambourine as long or as short as you want by editing it. Now let's move into some Asian sounds. I don't know my Asian drums, so let's just figure it out. Nice. Drum corps. A Scholar de Samba. Now you'll recognize this. And see, depending on how hard you hit the pad, you can assign each of the pads to 2 different sounds. So here, if I tap it softly, I've got a quick, short whistle. Hit it harder, and I get a long burst of whistle. And you can do that with all of the drums. Combine any drum with any whistle or whatever you want to create your sound. It's really useful. We got cajons in there. I'm not going to use that. Pan Pacific, what's this? Needs more level. Oh, I quite like this. This is a slit drum. Slit drum. Quite like that vibration. That's going to get used at some point. What's this? We've used the acoustic. So I'm just going to go into another kit chain now. This is the second percussive kit chain I've set up. Symphonic percussion. Oh, I imagine this is going to be a bit like... Remember the old 70s war movies? If you're a 70s child and you had to suffer all of that stuff on a Sunday, you'll recognise some of that. But moving on. Finger bells. Again, levels are all over the place. I've not been in and tweaked everything. More handbells. Bollywood. We're just scooting through. This is another Indian session. Not sure what's what. Oh, that wasn't what I expected. Or the N3P got in cheekily. So these, you can tune all of these. So if you want to tap out a specific melody, you can do that. Just assign what you want to any of the pads and then tune it, EQ it, get it exactly as you want it, and then you can use it. This is more Indian stuff called Indian pop. Indian folk beat. We got drums of India, will be more of the same. This is something different. Gamelan, whatever that is. I haven't got a clue. If you know, drop me a note. How nice is that though? Gonna use that at some point. Sitar and drone. Now I have not dived into this yet. Yeah, that's quite cool. Tablet. And then we've got our All-Stars, which we heard already. Now these are more harmonic. What I've done is in my kit change, I've just grouped the kind of things that they are together so that if I need something in a session, I can go very quickly to, all my melodic ones are in one place. And then I can bring up a level, EQ it, get it right for the song, get it tuned, and then we're off and running. So these are some more melodic kits. So tentatively go in. This is Vibes and Marimba. That's nice. Hand pan. Sounds so good. Literally, I could have a room full of drums and I wouldn't be able to use them all because you couldn't move your arms around. This is so easy. Roland make it so easy. This is called metal plated. That's my kick drum. Oh. And that's my yeah, it's quite nice. Obviously, most of these tuning specific ones are really only useful once you've tuned them for the tune you want to use. You can't just go banging in there expecting it's going to work. You need to figure out what your root notes is, what chords you're using, and then work within that. I might be stating the obvious here, but if you're a newbie, you might overlook this. All my kick drums, for example, all the kits I use are specific to songs because my kick drums are tuned for that song. Yeah, so a little tip along the way there. Lithophone. One more level on that. This is called Heart of Asia. 3p in again. More of the same, but it's got different layers in there. So you can play the melody and a beat. This is called Asian Flower. Now, I could probably sustain that kick drum so it goes on for longer. For some reason, I have edited most of these one way or another at different stages of the game. Yang Chin. Using my left foot on the kick drum, which isn't always so good for me. Now the Octapad is called the Octapad because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, but I've added a 9th and a 10th on my foot. And you can add more. Why I got this is it's expandable. I can add a snare drum to it, a ride cymbal, a hi-hat, which then would free up the 8 pads in the middle. Yeah. Great bit of kit. This is slightly different to the last one. Don't know why you would have those like that, but you hear the delay on that. Now you've got effects you can apply to any of these. Obviously it's Roland, so the effects are pretty damn good. They've been doing it for longer than most of us have been around. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move to another kit chain. We've got melodic, let's have a little look at melodic synth and sound effects, and then I'll wrap this up, move on to the 3p. So this is melodic synth. You might recognise that from a tune I did with a rapper last year. I have a jam that I call, well, it doesn't have a name yet, and then he came along and spat lyrics all over it, and we called it Spaceship. It's quite a cool jam if you have a look at that. Literally, we recorded what happened in a couple of days. It was really funny, so go and have a look at Spaceship. I think it's up. So you can see the levels are a lot quieter than the levels I'm using these days. I need to pull all of that up. We've got panning delay. That panning delay can be applied to any sounds you want. Now a lot of the bass synth sounds in here lead towards dance music, which I'm into, it's just not what I do, although some of my principles. Yeah, rotary kit. More like a synth. Oh, I didn't know this was in here actually. Well, I must have known. I put it in a kit chain. That's quite cool. Might look at that for another tune. Moving on. Atmosphere stops, so it plays what it is and moves to the next one as soon as you hit it. Okay, this is called Techno Warscape. You pretty much can guess what's coming. Now, did you notice there we got 16 sounds, is that, out of the 8 pads? And that's because when you hit them hard, you get... And when you hit them soft, you get... Really useful. Imagine being able to do that with your guitar strings. Techno bass. It's called techno bass, but I've got to set it up for something else at the moment. And I've tweaked it. So you've got nice synth sounds in here. Octapad. Unlikely to use that as it is, but given a tweak it could sound cool. It sounds more like something from the kids program at the moment. Here comes the bad guy. Anyway, moving on. Underground bass. And again, you can lengthen that out. They're quite short stabs at the moment. Sorry, just checking on the light there. Keeps changing. This is nice. Moving on to our next one. We still got the overspill of the last patch there. Do you notice that? It's nice. Set up octaves there on the kick and the ride. Loud bass, this is called. That's fat. Now you see, this is one I've made. That's cool. You're going to get to hear that at some point in a tune. Whoa. This is phased out. And now I think I'm going to show you the last one. Well, not that I've missed some out. I've missed a load out, but I just want to give you a flavour. Yeah. So this is called Mysterious. Mysterious, all right. This is sound effects. It's all getting a bit random. You might know how to use some of these. I'll probably use more organic ones. And that's Jungle Explorer. We've already had that. Cinema, this is called. Goes on forever, doesn't it? Well, not ever, but you know what I mean. Okay, this is called 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. I imagine it's just going to be talking.
6, 5, 4, 3, 3.
Okay, so I think there, I'm just going to leave it for a little minute. And now I'm going to move into the Nord 3P quickly. Now, I obviously use both these together, but I just want to run through some things here just to give you a flavour. Now, the Octapad is sample based. Everything is made from really high quality samples, and then you can manipulate that. Whereas the Nord 3P over here is based on sound waves. So your sound wave, hang on, let me see if I can find a blank patch. That's a sound wave. All of those pads sound the same. Nothing is happening to any of them. Now if I go, I'm just going to run through some of their presets here. I've got some that I've saved myself. Won't waste your time with that. But I'll show you some of the presets it comes with. I've got this set up at the moment that usually my snares are going to be here. These should be toms. A kick drum should always be there. And hats should be here. So as we go through these patches, we should have more or less the same layout. Now I haven't got a kick drum set up for this on the floor. That's running with the Octapad. So if I just bring up a kick drum, yeah, that one will do. Now I find this really atmospheric. I love it. I'm going to move to the next patch. These hats are quite cool. Patch 3. Now, these patches on here are set up as A, B, C, D, and then there's 50 within each patch. That's a shitload of sound. So I'm not going to run through all of these. I've given you a little flavour there, and they've got different patches. So you've got a group of 50 for kind of drum kits like that, a group of 50 for kind of really out there drum kits, a group of 50 for more organic sounding stuff. I'm going to take you straight through to what I was building. Now, this is a kit that I use in the In Space tune. What's quite nice here is these. They sound really, how organic does that sound? It's made from a sound wave. It's not a sample. It's incredible. I think I used that in Wind Blows. And then I use that in Sunrise. And these are some of the more organic sounding drums. They're nice tones, just need to play with the levels a bit. That's nice. I like that kit. So now what I'm going to do, I think, is I'm just going to take this back to patch 1 of their ones. I'm going to bring up a drum kit. Let's just go with a normal drum kit, so tight drums. I'm just going to show you how you can just play a, I'm not a drummer, I'm going to play a beat. I'm just going to make it up. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I just want to see what happens when I hit both of these. So. So you can integrate them really easily, really nicely. I'm going to wrap that session up there. This is my rhythm section right here, and that's why I use it. It gives me all the sounds I want. And if it doesn't give me that sound, I can manipulate it into what I want. And if one of them breaks down, I've always got the other as a backup. But they work beautifully together, and I haven't had any problems with any of the gear that I use. I only ever seem to have problems with either my phone, a laptop, or a computer. Find yourself scratching your head going, why, world, why didn't we keep it analog? Well, we do like digital because it allows us to do this, but too much digital in your life can make for a dull boy sitting behind a computer screen. You'll need glasses sooner than you know it. Take care. I'll see you soon.